What's up and welcome back to my channel, it's JVceo. If you are tuning in for the first time, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, the usual stuff. We're trying to get monetized on YouTube this year. But anyway, this video I will be going through a bunch of questions or a bunch of goals. So what happened was a couple of days ago, I asked members on the network to write out their goals. I encouraged everyone to do so that we can hold each other accountable, because I think the first step, or one of the important steps to achieving your goals, if you're not so motivated to do so yourself, is to become publicly accountable. And this was what I was trying to get from the guys in the network. Anyways, I started off and I kicked off by giving my own 3 goals. I'll let you know my 3 goals, and then I'll read through each and every single person's goals anonymously, and I'll answer it in terms of the directions that I believe they should go in. This would probably be a 2-part video, so stay tuned all the way till the end. If you're watching this video and you're part of the network and you've written your goals as well, make sure you watch right till the very end for the 2 parts, because you don't know when I'm going to talk about your actual goals. My personal goals this year is I want to be a published author. That's number 1. Number 2 is I want to obtain my helicopter license. And number 3, I want to be in a position to launch my estate as well. So that's my goals out of the way. I know exactly how I'll achieve that. But anyways, I'll go ahead and talk through the guys' goals and give you guys pointers on what to do about that. So if it looks like I'm reading off my phone, that is because I'm reading off my phone. So we have a message from A. He wants to have a funded account up to the amount of 300,000 this year. For those of you that don't know what a funded account is, that's whereby you basically pay a small amount and then you get access to a30 trading account. So he wants to have a funded account that is up to 300,000 this year, and then I believe he has a 70-30% split on the actual funded account, meaning he keeps 70% of the profits he makes of that £300,000. So what I'd say to you, bro, is more important than the actual funding account is just to make sure that you're actually learning and staying with the process. So marry up to Baby Pips. Baby Pips should be your best friend this year. Baby Pips taught me how to trade. I started using Baby Pips in 2015. So that's what I'd recommend, because I can get you a funded account. You can buy a 250 grand funded account with $1,000 and you can blow that in a week or 2. So Baby Pips and learning the actual styles of trading that you want to adopt would be what helps you reach that goal and maintain that goal as well. Your second goal is that you want to be debt free, and you also want to reach a body fat of 15% and below. I think we're both in the same category in that regards. I think it's baby steps when it comes to working out, and I should take my own advice as well, because no matter how tired you are when you wake up in the morning, even if it's just the 20 press-ups and 20 sit-ups, try and get it done. It's about routines. There's a saying that I always used to say on Snapchat: routines are synonymous to success, and believe me, they are. And also what you eat as well. So if you have somebody that lives with you, your partner, try and have them fix you up a meal prep. I think that would really help you as well. And your other goal was you want to be debt free. That's very easy. I think that's actually the easiest. So what I want you to do is I want you to write out every single person that you owe money to. I want you to then establish contact with them. Don't ignore them, because I think when you ignore them, that's when the debt just keeps adding. You have all these extra charges and so on and so forth. So contact them, pause any additional charges, and then maybe get in contact and we can create a plan to pay off your debt. You can either use the snowball effect or you can use the avalanche effect. So for those of you that don't know, the snowball is whereby you sort of start with the smallest debt. It encourages you and it gives you confidence until you roll into the bigger debts. Avalanche is where you start with the biggest debt and you just pay off the biggest one and you're charged up. Anyways, moving on to B. B wants to buy a property for mum. That's beautiful. Wants to take your funded account journey to the next level. and the goal is to 3x 200k accounts. So I'm guessing whatever profits you make, you want to 3x that across, account sizes that are 200k or above. I think the same sort of advice applies. I know who you are, and we spoke at length about a month ago. Just make sure you're learning. Learning is the key. We'll be launching a fortnightly YouTube session on trading as well. So make sure you're joining us for these sessions. Make sure you're soaking in everything. Make sure you're participating in the network. We have, playlists in the learning room. Make sure you're using that and just marry up to baby pips, as I mentioned earlier. Purchase a property for your mum. That's great, but I think you need to really understand what it is that you're trying to do. So it's not just about the deposit. Ideally, try and understand what your mum's goals are. So does she even want to be in the country? I believe you're Asian, so it might be that your mum wants to move back to where she's from. I don't know, maybe Pakistan, Bangladesh. So identify what her goals are, because I think it's really nice. We all want to buy our parents a house, but that might not be their goal. Secondly, remember in the UK, unfortunately, it's a credit-driven society. I know you're not speaking about buying her a house outright. So think about the fact that you'll be tying yourself into a mortgage for probably another 25 years. There might be other things that your mum would prefer you doing over buying her a house. So just consider that before you take a 25-year decision, before you take a decision that would affect you for 25 years. You just take it in the heat of the moment. Anyways, moving on, we have your third goal. My apologies. Take on another retail property with at least equal net income. Again, I think that's probably you want to expand your buy-to-let portfolio. Before doing that, keep an eye on the market, keep an eye on interest rates, keep an eye on just the overall state of the market. Is it a buyer's market at the moment? Is it a seller's market at the moment? And does it have to be UK? Because I think there are incredible opportunities presenting themselves elsewhere as well. Other continents, Dubai, I think it's brilliant. Even though I think Dubai is starting to slow down now, I think they'll probably experience a level of mini crash or perhaps dip in their property market. But just explore it before sort of going into it. And eventually you could be in a position where your funded accounts are funding your deposits for your property purchases. Anyways, we move on to C. He wants to become profitable in Forex, where it can be a form of cash flow. Second goal is that he wants to launch his first clothing collection for his brand, and number 3 is that he wants a work promotion. I'll start with number 3 because some of you may or may not know I was actually in the corporate field, and I think when it comes to work promotion, you just need to understand how to add value to your business or to your company. And you need to understand what it is that your companies are or your company is looking for. And then you have to strategically know when to take a sideward or sideways movement. Because sometimes we're always after, an upward movement, but sometimes sideways opens up more career paths for you. So I'll give you an example. Let's say you work in IT, and at the moment you're a software developer, you're a coder, versus let's say you're what's another role in IT? Let's say analysis. Maybe under analysis, the opportunities that comes from there might come once every 5 years. But under coding and under software developing, it comes very often. Every 6 months, there's an opportunity to sort of move up within that field, because obviously it's more relevant to today's day and time, if that makes any sense. So understand where you are within the company and figure out if you're better off taking a sideways movement that opens up more doors for you to move upwards in future. Also, launch your first clothing company or your first clothing collection for your brand. I'm not discouraging you by any means, but I'm not the biggest fan of clothing companies because sometimes the longevity, it's a very short-term sort of business. Longevity sometimes isn't really there, but if that's what you want to do, then try and reduce your overall cost in terms of your cost, your material cost, and so on and so forth, and then understand what separates you from everyone else. I don't just want to wear a hoodie that says Trapstar or that's nothing against Trapstar, by the way. They're an amazing brand out of the UK, but I want something that has meaning to it. So maybe it's incredibly made, but at a much cheaper price plan or price point, or something. There has to be something that attracts me to it. I'm a bargain hunter, so so just think about it and actually have some USPs. For those of you that don't know what that is, that's unique selling points. So have some of that, and then I think you'd be able to go far in your clothing business. Moving on from that, I think you had one more thing that you wanted to do, which was become profitable in Forex. That's easy. Take on everything that we are teaching within the network. You have playlists to join. You have, other members that you can learn from as well. Just soak in everything. If you ask a Freeway joined me, I think probably about 2 years ago now. And when Freeway joined, Freeway wasn't your experienced trader as he is now. And I think now he's doing amazing with like gold trading and so on and so forth. But he took all the learnings that we had to offer him, and now he's in a fantastic position. And I could say that for a lot of people on the network as well. Right, so moving on from that, we have he wants to buy a house this year. Why do you want to buy a house this year? Are you buying a house of an ego purchase, or are you buying a house because you believe that that is the right decision? Are you studying the overall market? It's so important. Look, if you've done the numbers and you've studied the overall market and it still works for you and you want to buy a house, by all means buy a house. But don't be like our parents' generation where the only thing that they want to do is just, graduate from school, or the only thing they advise us to do is work hard, learn, graduate from school, get a job, buy a house. Like, we're way more advanced than that. You don't just have to buy a house. So understand, look at all your interest rates, look at the property market and actually see if that's the best decision for you. Can you keep renting for slightly longer? Because in some areas, renting is proven to be cheaper than actually buying a house. So that's my opinion on that. And that's how I think you should tackle that. Lose your belly. I talked about that earlier on in terms of just controlling what goes into your mouth and also having some routine, and grow your car dealership. That's different. That's amazing. How would you do that? So what end of the market do you want to focus on? I think that's something you have to ask yourself. You can't go off dealing in prestige cars and then dealing in, the bangers as well. You have to choose what side of the market you want to be on. And also, your car dealership, what else are you doing that can enhance and separate you from everyone else? So I know, for example, speaking to someone else on the network, they were actually trying to find a way to offer finance. So offering finance is another way of separating you from everyone else, because the economy is tight. It's not easy to just bring out £20,000 and say you want to go and buy a car. So just find out ways to separate yourself. Look at your branding as well. A lot of these car companies, the smaller guys and the local guys, they haven't thought about their branding, but when you look at people like Car Giant, the reason why you buy from a Car Giant is branding. So look at your branding, start to work on your branding. Your branding would open doors that your brain wouldn't even open for you. That's the truth. Branding is key. So that's what I want you to focus on this year as well. Right, so we are going to move on to one more and then we'll wrap up this video and get on to the part 2 of it. Anyways, he wants to buy his first property this year, grow his shipping container business, and get under 15% body fat. Again, that is different. So the same answer applies for your under 15% body fat goal, and grow your shipping container. That's interesting. I think you should open a direct market to Africa. Understand what's really working there. For example, I can tell you now off the bat, engines are amazing. If you can, import some engines into Africa, most notably Ghana, Nigeria, Senegal, those countries will do amazingly well. So not just any car engines. So you're looking at like Mercedes-Benzes, like the C-classes, E-classes. You're looking at Toyotas as well. So any cars that are driven in Africa, if you can actually obtain the engines and send over here, you would probably be able to expand your container shipping business, because you know, as soon as it lands, it will get taken off and guaranteed. If you need help, just contact me directly. And you want to buy your first property this year, the same advice to the previous point, just analyze everything, understand the market before you actually make a move. Anyways, hopefully you guys are enjoying the session. For those of you that are tuning in for the first time, make sure you go and do your vision board, go and create something. If you don't target it, you don't achieve it. It's JVceo. Make sure you like, comment and subscribe, and click over for part 2.